Hello all, welcome to part 4 Python threads of module 2 in the Security Tube Python Scripting Expert course and certification. Now before I actually talk about threading in Python, there is a very important thing which you need to know. Unfortunately, in the C Python implementation, which is the reference implementation, there is a notion called the global interpreter lock. Now, what does this mean? Well, C Python, and this is taken directly from their documentation, unfortunately only allows one thread uh, in any given Python code, basically, to use the interpreter. Now, this is a huge problem, right? Because if you think about it, then apart from I/O tasks such as network reads and disk writes, etc., Python threads aren't much useful. Now, if you want to leverage multi-cores, they provide a separate module called multiprocessing, which goes ahead and makes better use of the computational resources. And we have an exercise in the next video regarding that. Anyway, so keep this in mind, exceptionally important, so that you don't over expect from Python threads. Okay, so threads in Python typically can be created in two ways. One is using the thread module and the other using the threading module. In this video, we will look at how to use the thread module and create a very simple Python thread. Now, let me go here to our command line terminal and let me create a new file called thread.py. And as I always encourage you, if possible, type along with me. So we import the thread module, and let's also import the time module, which we will use in this class. Now let's define a function first. Let's say define worker thread. Let's say this function takes in an argument called id, right? And all this function does is probably prints a counter after a 1 second delay. So let's say count equals 1, and while true, print thread with id blah blah blah, say %d has counter value %d, and this is going to be the id followed by the count, right? And let's just have a very simple print here. Print thread id now alive, right? And after the print statement, let's call time.sleep so that this sleeps for, let's say, 2 seconds, right? Now let's just go ahead and write a routine to create a couple of threads. For I in range 5, thread dot, this is how you start a new thread, start new thread, and the first input is the function name which you want to threadify. So this is worker underscore thread. Now the second input is arguments which you want to pass to the worker thread in the form of a tuple. So let's say the thread ID is basically I, and that is the only tuple which you want to pass, right? And then let's just go ahead and wait. Here we can say print main thread going for a infinite wait loop. Okay, awesome. Let me quickly check the code. Import thread, blah 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 blah. This looks decent, at least in my opinion. So hopefully this should not go. Oh, here you are. As they say, mistakes happen. So we need to increment the count as well. Let's say by 1 every time. Right? Okay. So let's go ahead and run this. And basically, right, if you notice, these threads are going alive and now printing various values of the counter. Right? Awesome. So now coming back, this is exactly how you can create a very simple thread functionality using the thread module. Now, based on the knowledge which you've gained in this module as well as the network security programming 1, the exercise here is to create a multi-threaded port scanner in Python which uses SYN scanning. Now, here is what I'd like you to do. Let's say divide, or let's say take user input of the range of ports you would like to scan, let's say between 1 to 100. Divide that range into 10 equal parts, let's say 1 to 10, 11 to 20, blah blah blah, and then create 10 threads, each of which will use skp to go ahead and actually do the scanning. And then tell me if this works well, if there are any limitations or anything interesting which you may find. That's all for this video. We would encourage you to post your doubts and comments in the student forums, and we will try and get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you and have a great day ahead.